students, welcome once again. So in previous video we discussed about the three different topics: meaning of federalism, then difference between federalism and unitary form of government, and what are the features of federalism. So now we will discuss about the another topic, that was approaches of federalism. Approaches means how many type of federalism are exist in a democracy. So there are two type of approach in federalism: holding together federation and coming together federation. Okay, so first we will discuss about this holding together federation. Holding together federation, different big states come together willingly and make one independent country. Okay, what they do, the different states, they merge their power and make a big unit, or you can say a country, so that they can be a strong nation. And in this, all the units or the states are equal to each other. All states have equal power. Either they are population wise or area wise, big or small, that doesn't matter, but all states have equal power. Okay, now the example of this coming together federation is, first one is America, another one is Switzerland, then Australia. Second type of federation which is made in this democratic countries is the holding together. In holding together federation, center has to compel the small units to come and make a big nation. Okay, in this particular holding together federation, center is always a very strong unit. Okay, and states have not as much powerful as center. Okay, the first thing is that there is a lot of difference between power in center and state. And another thing, that some states or some units are more powerful and some are less powerful. Means they have more power given either by the constitution or by the central government, and some states have less power. So this is the difference between coming together and holding together. Now the example of holding together is India, and then it is written in Spain, and Belgium is also the example of holding together federation. So the approaches of federalism, there are two type of approaches: coming together and holding together. Okay, now the question, what are the things or what are the features by which we can say that India is a federal country? What are the things exist in our country by which we can claim India is a federal country? So when you read, it is there are three type of things which we can say. In theory, we can say India is a federal form of country. For that, again, as we have read earlier, that power should be divided. What is federalism? That when power is divided it between center and state. So question, what make India federal? The answer of this question is that there are division of power in our country, and these division of power, we can see that there are three different type of list which are written in a constitution and given to state and center. So these lists are union list, state list, concurrent list. Okay, there are different type of subject in each list, and in these particular subjects the role of center and state is different. So first we will discuss the list by which we can say that India is a federal country. Now the first list which was given on your book, and it is page number 16, is union list. Okay, so in union list there are the subject which has the importance for the whole country. Okay, for example, banking, currency, defense, then foreign affairs, communication. Total in these subjects there are center is an authority who will decide to make a law on these particular matters, and the law which was made by the center authority has to follow all over the country. Okay, so center is there are lots of subject of national importance on which central government, means parliament, is authority to make the law. Now the second list, which we can say the state list. Okay. So in this union list, there are 97 subjects. Total 97 subjects are there. And in state list, there are 66 subjects. For example, these subjects are local importance, police, trade, then agriculture, commerce, irrigation. These are the main topics on which central government has power to make law for their day-to-day administration. So in central state legislative assembly has power to make the law on these particular issues, and all the states have their own power to make law on these particular subjects. Now the third list, which was concurrent list. Now there are 52 subjects, and in these subjects, example are education, then forest, trade union, marriage, adoption and succession. In these particular subjects, both center and state government can make the law. Okay, but if there is any dispute on any particular law between center and state, then what will happen? The law which was made by the center will be prevail or be effective rather than the state government. Means the law which was made by the central government will be effective, and the law which was made by the central government will be dismissed. So in concurrent list, center is more powerful than state government. Okay. Now there are another one list which was not written in your book. It was written in a paragraph, not in a bold letters. That was residuary subjects. Subjects which are not included in these three lists, because there are lots of subjects which are not exist at the time when the constitution was made. Okay, they are the new things which are coming in day by day life. So the power to make law on these subjects is go to the central government. The central government has a power to make law on these particular subjects. For example, right now, computer and technology and this cyber crime, on these particular issue which are coming in a residuary list, state government has no power, central government has power to make law on these particular issue subjects. Okay, so by the first, which we see in the feature, that power should be divided. So there is a division of power between center and state by the three lists. By looking at these three lists, we can say that there is a federalism in our country because powers are divided between center and state. Okay, some powers are there for the center and some powers are there for the state government. Okay. Now here, because India is a holding together federation, so in our country there are some states which are given some special powers. For example, Jammu and Kashmir. Though now it is become a union territory, but before union territory, Jammu Kashmir is a independent state. So it has given more power than other state. Jammu Kashmir has their own constitution, their own law and their own rules and regulations. Okay, because we have already read that in holding together federation, some states are getting more power than another state. Okay, so that's why in some states there are more power. For example, in UT, Union Territories, powers are given by the center to the authorities, not by the state list, because they are coming in union territories. Okay. So now the next topic which we will discuss, how the federalism practice in our country, how we follow federalism in practical. These are the things which we read earlier, that was theory, and now how in practical. So when we read the topic, we will see that practice of federalism in India is First, the things by which we can say that there is a federalism in our country is language. Okay, so we can see on page number 19, linguistic state. A topic is given. Linguistic state, states which are made on the basis of language. Lots of states are made by the central government on the basis of their language. Means in that particular area, if the people are in majority speaking some language, particular language, so state has been made up. After independence, there are a lot of you can say movement and lot of development by which people are trying to make a state for their own particular language, but the central government always deny this particular demand. There was lots of violent issues, lots of movements, people are also died on this particular issue. But after that, in 60-70, central government has decided to make lots of state on the basis of language. For example, this Maharashtra is become on the basis of language. After independence, Maharashtra is a part of Gujarat, but on the basis of this linguistic issue, Maharashtra and Gujarat are divided, because in Maharashtra most of the people are speaking Marathi and in Gujarat most of the people are speaking Gujarati. So government see that if we can make our states based on the language, they can be more developed than before. And in practical, it is very good thing for our country that by making different states on the basis of language, now they are more successful than earlier. So the first topic, that in practice, is there federalism in our country? Yes, we distribute our power. We made lots of states on the basis of language. Okay, lots of states are there which were made on the basis of language. Some states are made on the basis of their culture, okay, or their geographical areas. Examples are given in your book, just like Nagaland, Uttarakhand, Jharkhand. These are the states which are made on the basis of language or culture or geographical areas. Okay, next, the thing which we see in practice of federalism in our country is language policy. Okay, we cannot say in India there is any one language is called our national language. Okay, in India 40% people speak Hindi and then other languages. So because 40% people are speaking Hindi, so Hindi is termed as a official language. Hindi is not our national language, it is a official language. So apart from Hindi, government has decided other different languages to be come in our language policy. So apart from Hindi, there are 21 languages which our government has decided to become with Hindi, and these all are coming in our language policies. Okay, so if you are a person, or if you are going to give exam which was conducted by our central government, you can opt any language you want on these 21 languages, which may be your mother tongue. Okay, so you can give your paper in that particular language. So in constitution, apart from Hindi, there are 21 other languages which are include the languages of our country. So as we see that in language policy or in language matter, India is a federal country. As we go, the example of Sri Lanka, the Sri Lankan people did not recognize the people of those who are speaking Tamil. Okay, because they only give the importance to the Sinhala language. But this not happen in India. Okay, in India, government has given all the 21 languages importance and value, and people are able to speak their own language, and in that particular state in which that language is going to be spoken by the people, people can do their day-to-day work, their government work is they can do in that particular languages. Okay. So the third topic by which we can say that India is a federal country, that was state and central relation. What are the relation between center and state? How the center is giving power to the other states. So as you already read, the center and states are getting power by their constitution. Okay. So there is no matter whether the center or the state, both are getting power with the constitution. So always there is a form of federalism in our country, but as we see in practice that for after the independent lots of time there is a rule of one party. Okay. So because of the rule of that particular party, sometimes the authoritarian government, or you can say the central government, did not give the power to the state government. So their relation is not very good. But after 1990, election of 1990, no, not even a single party get a majority. So now the era which was come in our scenario of Indian political system is the system in which lots of party are including and making a government which is called coalition government. So when the state party get the importance in the national level, so the relation between the center and states are now becoming very fruitful. Now the central government are not work as a authoritarian government or as a dictatorship government. Now they have to listen the demand of the people which are living in the state also. So as per we see the relation between center and states, now they are very cordial between center and state government, and now country is going to be very good practice of federalism in our country. Okay. So next, the topic is decentralization in India. We have earlier in starting we read in the meaning of federalism that power should be divided between different levels. So the two level I said is the must, center and state. But in our country there are three level of government: center, then state, then local. So about the local government we will read in this particular chapter when you go through this, and this topic is on your page number 24 and 25. You can read it. Their centralization in our country. Okay. So what the centralization? What is the meaning of centralization? What is the definition of centralization? That when power was taken from the center and state and given to the local authority or the local government, that is called decentralization. Okay. So in our country there is decentralization because center and state has given their power to the local government. In villages panchayat, in urban area municipality and municipal corporations. Okay. Because the local people are very effective to solve their problem very easily. When they have a power, they can solve their problem very effectively. They need not to go here and there to resolve their problems. They can solve their problems very easily. So government has decided to share their power with the third tier of government, that was local government. So now there are the things, some things which are given in your book, that before 1992 in our country the system of panchayat is not work very effectively because center and states are not giving their power to the local government. But now after the 1992 there was an amendment in constitution, some changes are gone in constitution. Now center and state are compelled to share their power with local government. So what are the changes gone on our local government scenario? It is very clearly written in your book again on page number 24, that what are the steps taken by the government towards the decentralization in after 1992. So the first step which was taken by the government that now it is essential that there should be an election for the local bodies in every 5 years, either the panchayat or the municipality or the nagar parishad, whatever it is. Okay. Next thing which was made compulsory, that the seats are reserved, okay, for scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and other backward classes. Okay. 1/3 seats are now reserved for women. Before the amendment in constitution, there was no reservation for women. There is a no voice of women in these local bodies. But now it is essential that 1/3 reservation should be given for the women. Okay. Now there is a independent state election commission has been made, so that under the guidance of this election commission, every 5th year or every 5 years there should be an election for local bodies. Okay. And state governments are compelled to give their power to the local authorities so that they can work more effectively. Okay. Now the name of local government is different in everywhere. In our country, we can say panchayat government, gram panchayat, nagar nigam, municipal corporation, municipal body. For village, we used to normally say panchayat or gram panchayat or gram sabha. Okay. And in urban areas, cities, we are used to say this municipal corporation or municipality. Okay. So this local government structure is everywhere in our country. So now it is mandatory that every 5 years there should be an election in every villages, and all the adult member of that particular villages participate in this election. They choose their representatives, which are called panchayat, and these representatives used to govern their particular villages in all the matters. Okay. Similar election was held in local this nagar nigam, or you can say in cities, either the nagar nigam or the municipality or the municipal corporation, same way as it was done in villages. And after the decentralization of government, or we can say power, we can see that it was very successful in our country. Lots of women, lots of peoples are now participating in this election. Powers are now given to the third tier of government. People are locally now very successfully solving their problem locally. They need not to go for everything for the state or the central authority. Okay. So most of the government has now transferred their power to the local authorities, and they have given them adequate resources so that they can manage their problems very easily. So now the chapter is finished. You read it again and again and go through all the exercise which is given in your particular book. They are in this NCERT question answers. There are the 2 maps. Now you have to fill those 2 maps also and do the question answer and other exercise.